Kagaribi 13 just happened, literally ended this morning, and I wanted to go over how insane the bracket was because this has never ever happened before. Not only has a tournament never been this stacked in all of Smash Bros. History across all the Smash games, but the amount of upsets are staggering, and I want to show you exactly what I mean. So this is the upset thread that happens. EchoStats, it runs like an algorithm thing that like pulls the Start GG data and then it shows all the upsets. Normally there's like, several dozen upsets. Just because like, lower seeded players will beat other lower seeded players and like technically it'll be an upset. But look at this. Oh, sorry, I have to click show more. Sorry, so sorry. Gotta click show more again. I apologize. So sorry. That's all the upsets from the first day of bracket. Not all the days of bracket, the first day of bracket. This is all day one upsets, and there were a ton. And honestly, it's easier to go through this than it is to go through all the individual pools. So let's do it. Yeah, I'm not gonna go over every single thing. I'm gonna go over the major ones because otherwise this would be like a 3-hour-long video. So Nyan-chan, who was the highest Smashmate ranked Link, who apparently has like a 10-2 record against Ryuo on Smashmate, beat Ryuo. Ryuo was kind of upset about that because that's unfortunate seeding. Because the way Japan works for the most part is when there's a good player that has not played offline before or has not played online or offline in quite some time, they get underseeded generally because it's like, hey, well, you have to prove it offline. So even though Nyan-chan was like supposed to do pretty decent based on the, assumed strength of the player, you can't seed them high because then also if they flop, everyone's gonna be like, oh my God, you're rating these Wi-Fi warriors so high, right? So yeah, lucky the US's best piranha plant got knocked out, or sorry, not knocked out. He lost to the seed 676, upset factor of 4, which is again the difference in their seeding placements basically. Teshi Samus got knocked into losers pretty early by Harun, don't know who that is. Lucky unfortunately got knocked out at 513th, which is I believe 3 placements below his seed, because this will be like 192nd, 250 something, 350 something, maybe like 4 rounds before he was supposed to, but pretty rough, right? Orion, the French wolf, got knocked up by, not knocked up. Whoa, buddy. Knocked into losers in upset factor 4. Leia lost in pools as well. Maybe this is like the first round of the second round of pools. I'm not sure. Maipan got knocked into losers pretty early. Waka got knocked into pools pretty early. Waka, of course, the Mexican Luigi by Saya. Don't know who that is. Goryoka got upset early. Goryoka, the seed 44, lost the seed 213. Granted, I have no Mion's tag, so they're pretty decent. Yan-chan also beat number 8. So again, the first upset factor was 10. This was like the very beginning of the tournament. By the way, this was like round 1. I think it was Ryuo's first round, maybe Nyan-chan's second. Leia got knocked out at 385th. Again, Leia is one of the best Greninjas in Japan, so that's kind of insane. Luna Mato, the Mii brawler and Luigi player, upset Anarchin, upset factor of 2. Ball beat Cola, so the seed 240 beat seed 17, which is insane. And Mane, I don't know who this is, 2-0'd Cola, so Cola got 257th. Cola, one of the best players in the US. I saw that he like didn't, he couldn't really force himself to try and losers after getting upset by Ball, but you know what they say, ball up top. Lunamato also beat Masa's Falco. I'm assuming this is a brawler. I could be wrong about that, but again, another upset factor 3. We're going to be doing a Lunamato video if enough of these matches are streamed, by the way, because Lunamato gets another big upset in day 2 actually, so don't worry, we will be covering that if I can. Skeleton, the Texas Kazuya, got an upset factor 7 loss. Again, round 1 of pools because this is like the next wave of people basically, so this is going to be the bigger seeds again. Yeah, Ocha's Rosa got upset by Nia. Again, upset factor of 4, upset factor of 4 here, but I know the player's a little bit worse, so I'm not really going to care that much. Noi got 193rd, which is insane, because Noi, again, very strong Pokemon trainer, very strong Olimar player. Tsuna beat Mutace, which again, this is a bit of a higher seed round, so it's not as big of an upset factor, because seed 93 over 36, but that's still kind of impressive. I feel like Mutace is very good versus Greninja, and 3-1, Tsuna, very, very strong. I will stroke my own ego here, because I did predict that Sin would beat Candle in their bracket. If you go back to the predictions video, I did say that Sin was probably going to make it out of winners, and I was right. Let's go. I was looking for like upset factors like 3 or bigger. And Soyu, the seed 1458th, knocked out Skeleton seed 79 with an upset factor 8 loss. Sorry, I realized I have to keep this like pretty high on the screen in order to show it. But yeah, Honestly, so far, insane. Upset factor 6 here, where Lima got sent into losers by Midu's Kazuya. Apparently, they're pretty good, but again, Lima was just a very high seed, so this is going to get quite the big upset factor. And again, followed up immediately with an upset factor 5, Mark, who's a different person than Mark the Yoshi, got an upset factor 5. And oh yeah, apparently this is a Min-Min, according to chat, so Min-Min Samus, that makes sense. The match was pretty bad, but still, upset factor 5, pretty influential. We had an upset factor 10 of Sauzando. I don't even know who that is, beating Ken 2-0. One of the top Sonics dropping early, but don't worry, there was Sonic representation because, you know, we were all worried about that. Kudo Ponzu beat Susu, which I guess that's not terribly surprising. Kudo Ponzu, very strong player. Susu has just been playing really well recently, so a little bit surprising. Niae beat Omega, again, upset factor 4. Like, there are so many upset factors. JY got 257th, losing to the 1155th seed, which again is kind of crazy. So now we're only into day 2, and again, there were still a lot of big upsets. First off, Akio got sent out of the tournament at 129th. Let's go Krebsele beating Toriguri. Krebs had a good run. Smub was able to beat Goryoka. Smub apparently almost beat Spargo in day 1, which is kind of cool. So that's kind of insane. Again, looking for big upset factors here, but again, a lot of this is just like, oh, still, even if it's not a huge upset factor, still Tomisa is able to beat Kome, knock Kome out at 129th. So these top players are going to start dropping like flies. We got Atada out at 129th. We had Marcos out at 129th. Waka was able to beat Kananabe. Again, bad matchup, which is good for Waka. So Kananabe, seed 41, knocked out at 129th. Elego also got 129th, losing to Chan. My boy Rivers was able to beat out Chag. Shout outs to Shoyo James here. I mean, Diddy Kong Pal is a good matchup, so that makes sense. Gact got knocked out at 129th. We had Neo upset MK Leo. Again, 54 over seed 11, so an upset factor of 5. Niae got knocked out at 129th, even though technically that's an upset because Harupoyo just had a really good run because seed 970 is not supposed to be making it to like 95th or whatever that was. Dio got 129th. We got Ling out at 129th because Loaf beat him. There's just so many top players that are doing crazy. Again, Nyanchan, seeded 1996th, is going to be sitting at like 97th, which is honestly insane. Kept got 129th. Leaf got 97th. Like, look at all these players that are just absolutely fantastic. Ryuo got 129th after losing literally his round 1. And then we have another big upset, which again is something I'm going to be covering in a video. Lunamato versus Light. So the seed 185 beat the seed 8. This is, I think, the second biggest upset of the tournament outside of the Nyanchan over Ryuo one, but still, it is pretty impressive. Siski was able to knock out Ken, so again, the 26th seed out at 97th. Taike beat Meister. Rivers continued his run, knocking out Navy 3-2, which is pretty impressive. And then tied for the second biggest, we have Riddles over Spargo, first seed over 32nd seed. Again, this kind of makes sense, just because Riddles has beat Spargo a couple of times, so this isn't like the most shocking thing. It is unfortunate that, spoilers, because we're going to get into this, Spargo got 33rd, losing to 2 North American players, losing to Riddles and Leo. You know, we all know Spargo as like Japan's demon, and he wasn't really able to make it to any of the top Japanese talent, unfortunately. So yeah, Riddles, great job there. And again, Leo already lost to Neo, so he was already in losers when this happened, which set them on the unfortunate path. Peanut versus Akikusu, low-key, hot set. That was a really good set. This was an incredible set to watch. I don't know how Peanut won. He beat him also at the pre-local. Don't know how you do that without being able to read Japanese. Frontier beat Shattuck for upset factor 13. Wait, why did that not happen? Why was that not on my list? Unfortunate. Yeah, I forgot. Frontier beat Shattuck, upset factor 13. Frontier, of course, one of the number 1 player on Smashmate, Kazuya God. So yeah, honestly, insane there. Jagabata was able to beat Umeki, so again, even though not a huge upset factor, Umeki out at 97th is crazy. WebJP was able to beat Kudo Fune, so again, top Sonic player out at 97th. Shida Yuki got 65th with an upset factor 5. Tarek was able to knock out Masa, so Masa, again, who was like, what, 35th on the Lumi rank, out at 65th. Raflo got 65th. Sin, the Ice Climbers we talked about, lost to Jagabata's Duck Hunt, which that makes sense. That matchup is like unwinnable. Something that is a surprise in terms of upset factor, but not in terms of my head, is that Wrath beat Ashimo. I'm actually super happy for Wrath that he was seeded into basically Sonic Dittos and FGC characters because he was just able to beat all of them. Wrath did so well this tournament, absolutely amazingly, which is kind of, I mean, it makes sense, but it is still very impressive. Again, we have a couple of Japanese upsets to just, you know, Siado beating Mark, Toriguri losing to Now. We have Lemozone A, beating Daki. So Daki with an upset factor of 5. Seed 29 is out at 65th. Tweak was able to knock out Dora Migi out of winner's bracket. Sorry, not knock him out, but knock him out of winner's bracket. So that's an upset factor 5. Fire, the Aegis player, was able to beat Uame, knock him out at 49th when Uame literally just did super, super well at the pre-local or at like one of the locals this week. Literally double eliminated Akola from that tournament. Gluto was able to beat Mia, and T was able to beat Sonics. This was such a funny set. T was shamelessly corner camping. It was insane because how do you ever edgeguard Pac-Man? He just jumped off stage the entire time. It was hilarious. And again, Glutoni's just had me as number recently. Gluto it's impossible for him to lose to Game & Watch apparently, which is really, really good for him because that was kind of what happened a lot in the bracket. But anyway, we've done enough of the Twitter thread. I think I can go into the actual bracket and we can look at that. So again, so many things were happening in bracket, right? Carmelo lost to Riddles after beating Nyon KB. We had Lunamato finally fall from winner's bracket to Taike. Again, as we mentioned, Wrath beat Ashimo, Gluto beat Mia. Gluto also beat Zachary, which he 3-0'd him. That was really impressive. I wanted Zachary to win. No offense. I mean, I'm very happy Gluto's having a good season. Gluto is one of my favorite players, but Zachary's my number 1 favorite player, and I always want my number 1 to be like my number 7 favorite player, right? Zombo is having a good run at this point. Akola barely made it past Crepe Soleil. This was actually such an intense set. Literally, I think Crepe was like a couple frames away from hitting a landing up air into Waft game 5 last stock. So that was probably that was low-key the closest set of the tournament in my opinion. Yeah, I don't know a set that was closer than that because I feel like all the game 5s, at least that I heard of, weren't that close. But yeah, it was so scary. Was barely off on F till 2 frames. It was Crepe played that set fantastically. He just missed a couple things. Tama P was having a nice run. We had Min main Rimu actually make it all the way to winners quarterfinals, upsetting Syrup and then upsetting T, only falling to Akola there. Dora Migi beat Yoshidora, but then fell to Tweak, as we mentioned. And then Tweak beat Snow. This was also maybe the set of the turn. This was also an incredibly close set. I'm probably going to be watching these two sets, or maybe the Tweak and the the Snow and the Shoe Tone sets for a Tweak video, because he deserves it. I mean, 5th place here is insane, and people don't want to watch Sonic, and that's the only other North American player that top 8'd, which was Wrath, and people won't want to watch that. So congrats to Wrath. If y'all want me to do a video on him, let me know. I don't think you do, because no one on my channel likes watching Sonic, and if you know I'm wrong, then tell me I'm wrong. No, leave it down in the comments. Again, Peebnut was having a low-key, super good run here, beating Neo after beating Akakix, which is crazy, Akakikusu. But yeah, really, really good stuff. You think Akola deserved that winner? Did they give Akola the easiest bracket? Akola just kind of got an upset bracket. That's not really his fault. But again, he almost lost game 5. Tama P has beat him before. Rimu just upset a bunch of people. This could have been a much harder match for Akola. It could have been Sonics, but Sonics lost to T. That's not his fault. You know what I'm saying? Sonics literally can definitely beat Akola, and he just didn't make it there. Akola is just really consistent, and very few people can beat him, so if he avoids a bracket of 3 people, he's probably gonna at least get top 3. Also, again, Hurt wasn't allowed to enter. Hurt has had his number recently. Gluto beat him at the pre-local, so that maybe could have been a thing, but probably not. Top 3 all time, top 2 all time. I can't. He's probably top 1 all time in terms of Ultimate. Akola is probably the best Smash Ultimate player of all time. It's just people like to say Leo because we are in America, or we're not in Japan. But I think it's Akola. I think it's number 1 Akola. Mudace, after losing early in pools to Tsuna, actually had quite the run, beat Ike, who was the, I guess number 2 Peach in, in Japan, behind probably Umeki, but also did better than Umeki here. Then beat Neo, and then beat Motsunabe, beat Zomba. I don't know if you can see how far you can see. Beat Zomba, and then I actually need to change where my thingy is. Whoop, let's go here now. And then lost to Mia, and then Mia made top 8, beating Rimu. Light beat Meister, again, not really losing to Game & Watch players, but unfortunately lost to Snow. I saw people be like, oh my god, Snow let it rip on a forward smash. It was crazy. When he literally just punished up smash out of shield. That's a guaranteed punish game 5. So again, weird matchup, definitely. I think it's slight Mario favor, or even at best for Fox. Same kind of with Brawler, right? I think that was not a good, I don't think that's a good matchup for Fox. I just expected Light to outplayer people, but Snow and Lunamato are both very, very good, right? Lima ended up beating Kebanga, and then fall to Yoshidora. Yoshidora's just so strong, right? But then Yoshidora also beat Snow, lost to Mia. Sonics had quite the loser's run as well after dropping to T, beat Lemozone A, beat Syrup, beat Taike in the mirror match, which I feel kind of bad for Taike because he literally just lost the Sonic Ditto twice, which is kind of miserable. He actually did better versus Taike, or sorry, he did better versus Sonics than versus Wrath, which is kind of a surprise. Even though Taike was like up like 3 stocks to 1, like 2 different games against Wrath, and then lost both of them somehow. Don't know what happened. But then unfortunately fell to Carmelo after Carmelo beat Reno. Reno actually had quite the run. I know he made a couple of upsets early. I think versus Tarek or something like that. Oh no, Tarek's right there. Who did he beat in winners? I remember he beat someone in winners. The Buzz Lightyear power was too much. So funny that it was Buzz Lightyear me. So funny. Oh, Reno beat Onin. Yeah, I mean, Byleth, we've seen that Byleth can definitely beat Steve, as evidenced by MK Leo, right? Doing well versus Steve in the past. Because I won't say that Leo does good versus Steve now, but yeah, just so many amazing players just were either dropping or having like very surprisingly good runs. And again, the losers bracket was just kind of demon mode, right? We had Dabuzz fall to Shion in like the most unfortunate ending. F's in chat for Dabuzz falling to a snooze crit or I don't think the crit mattered, but it was snooze at the very end of game 5 when he was up like 100%. Syrup beat Shion, getting revenge for his New York, New Jersey brethren, but then again fell to Sonics. We have Tarek beat Kinaji's Snake. I didn't know he played Snake. And Shulk before falling to Reno. We had a Kirby make top 64, which is crazy. Do you know how many top players got like 129th or 97th or 65th? And then just like a Kirby made it to top, and unfortunately, literally, like, not only did he make top 64, he had to run into someone that probably has a ton of Kirby experience in Waka, because literally, like, there is, Gilhue in Mexico. So many people probably wouldn't be ready for a top level Kirby. It's like if you've played Gilhue or you've played J-Jar, you're like from their regions, then like fair. But running into Waka is really unfortunate there. But good stuff to, I guess I'm gonna say their full name, which is Konokururu. And still took Waka to game 5, and Waka again is incredible. We had 33 parent bucks and Onin on a collision course. Onin actually did also quite well, beat Peebnut before falling to Doramigi in another run back from Level Up Expo, which is a bit unfortunate. And Doramigi kind of just slayed his little section of losers bracket, beating MK Big Boss Onin, and then Riddles 3-2, unfortunately. It's a little bit of a rough matchup, and Riddles fell to 9th after having one of the best runs probably of his life. I mean, he won a couple majors, and this might have just been his best run anyway, which is kind of insane. Lunamato doing pretty well in losers. I mean, won a set. Again, he made it to top 64 winners, which is, again, guaranteed 33rd, before falling to Ashimo 3-1. So, again, good stuff to him. Ashimo also beat T, who's on quite a good run, and then Tama P beat Ashimo, and Gluto beat Tama P. Again, Gluto, literally one of the stories of the tournament, in my opinion, just played so well. Again, beating Mia. He's one of the only people in the world that can currently beat Mia. Yes, I know Mia got like 33rd at Level Up Expo, but that's okay. Also, I don't remember if he lost to Gluto in winners bracket. Tama P had a secretly good run. Leo had to make quite the losers run. Again, beat Akakikusu, and then beat Spargo before falling to level 1's Toon Link here. Apparently level 1 got double eliminated by Leo when Leo first came to Japan back in like 2019, and level 1 finally got his revenge. And of course, let's go to the top 8 if you haven't seen it. Oh wait, I forgot to mention the person that beat Shutone. So Shutone lost in winners to Tweak, and then in losers lost to Carmelo. Carmelo beat Sonics and Shutone and Reno, who had again just beat Onin earlier in the bracket. So really good wins here for Carmelo. I think won a major recently, so Carmelo definitely one of the best Steves in the world. So in top 8 we had winners bracket side Wrath and Raru, because Raru just had a kind of a silently good bracket run, beating Andres FN, who actually had quite the run to make it here, and then beat Zomba 3-1, kind of like, redoing the last Golden Week upset, which happened. That was like when everyone was like, wait, Luigi might be broken. And then beating Gluto here, 3-2, which Gluto went Link. Apparently felt much better than Wario versus Luigi. Again, I've covered Gluto losing to a couple of Luigis now on my channel, so going Link makes 100% sense because those sets looked pretty bad, and then was able to take 2 games from the best one in the world, so, the Link probably going to come out in full force here. So in winners bracket, we had Wrath, who just, again, fighting game, Sonic, fighting game. Raru, they had to play. Akola versus Tweak had to play, which is unfortunately a rough pull for Tweak. And then in losers bracket, we had Mia, Carmelo, Doramigi, and Gluto. Gluttony for the top 8, which again is incredible. Really, really good to, like, it's really impressive to make it here as any player. Of course, a lot of these players are the pretty consistent players, right? We have Raru, who's been pretty consistent the past like year. We have Akola, Tweak, Gluto, Doramegi, Mia, and then of course Wrath, who sometimes makes really big runs, and then Carmelo, who's made a couple of big runs as well. Knocked out at 7th place, we have Gluto and Carmelo. Mia just doesn't really lose to Steves at this point, like maybe Onin, and then Akola, yeah, but like that's about it. Mia just doesn't lose to the other Steves. So Carmelo was knocked out with a hell of a run at 7th place, and unfortunately Gluto was also knocked out at 7th place 3-0 by Doramegi with a 1 stock and then a double 2 stock. Again, Doramegi has been playing so well recently. Low-key still in shot for number 1 because I don't know if Doramegi's season is overall better than Akola's. I don't know how much the 33rd place is going to hurt Akola at Level Up Expo, or if it's just going to not really matter because Akola won this event, right? Spoilers. 5th place, unfortunately, we have to talk about the winner semis matches first, is Wrath versus Raru. Raru 3-0'd him. Again, Luigi's able to kind of counteract a lot of Sonic's pressure with Fireball and Zair kind of stopping spin in its place, and Raru was able to kind of just handle Wrath 3-0. And Akola versus Tweak, apparently Tweak was up 2-1, and then unfortunately, just the mental fortitude that you have to have in order to just beat Steve in a matchup like Diddy versus Steve, which is probably Diddy's like 3rd worst matchup, but definitely like the worst like generally applicable matchup, is really hard. And Tweak did an amazing job again taking Akola to game 5, but unable to close it out. So Akola versus Raru was in winners finals. Tweak was able to double eliminate Doramegi here because beat him in winner's bracket as well, and then of course beat him in loser's bracket 3-1, and Mia was able to beat Wrath, getting revenge for Let's Make Moves Miami this past year, where Wrath was able to beat Mia 3-2. Again, Mia probably just getting a little bit better at the Sonic matchup. 2 stock as well, game 1 and 4. Also, something I want to just note really quick, in the T versus Sonic's matchup, because I forgot to mention it because the set was wacky. Like, it was funny to watch because T was just camping him, but also like Sonic's SD'd like 4 times in this set, or 3 times minimum. It was very strange, very unlike him. He must have been so nervous. Because like, that's so odd. That's so odd. And because both Tweak and Mia won, they had to play in loser semifinals, and unfortunately Tweak was knocked out at 3rd place here again, losing to, I feel like, 2 of the best characters in the game in Game & Watch and Steve. Is pretty rough for Diddy Kong. It is what makes Diddy Kong not necessarily the best. So even though Mia got upset pretty early by Gluto, he was able to make it all the way to losers finals, where he had to play the loser of winners finals, which was actually Akola. Raru was able to defeat Akola. I don't know if that's happened before. Let me double check. Yeah, that was actually his first time beating Akola. So he had never beat Akola before. It was, I believe, I'm doing my math right, 0-5. So that is quite the impressive feat to do in winners finals of the biggest tournament. No, sorry, not the biggest. The most stacked tournament ever to exist. Also like 4th biggest, so it's not even like not big. So he's able to win that and advance into grand finals, where unfortunately he had to play either one of 2 really hard opponents. Someone he was either like 1-13 against in Mia, or someone that he had just won a set of, but still was 1-5 within Akola. And Akola was able to take it against Mia with a reverse 3-0. Again, their sets are some of the best sets in Smash Ultimate history. It's just Game & Watch versus Steve, and a lot of people don't like watching that matchup. But God, is it wonderful to watch these 2 titans of the game. Definitely the 2 titans of Japan, 2 of probably the best 5 players to ever touch the sticks in Smash Ultimate. It is really fun to watch. People just don't like new meta if you are, watching this channel, because Americans don't like watching top tiers unless it's Fox, because they think that up tilt 17 times into up air 17 times is really cool. Unless Game & Watch is doing it, then it's evil and wrong. Akola just did really well versus Mia there in the reverse 3-0, and then Akola was able to take down Raru in 2 sets. Really close game 1 as well, but then it actually played Pyra Mithra as well in game 4 to show like, hey, this isn't just Steve. I don't exactly know why he went Aegis, besides the fact that he lost a game here, and I don't know if it reminded him of Winner's Final set, but went Aegis, looked very clean. His Aegis is incredibly good, and then just closed out set 2 with Steve. This game 4 was actually incredibly tight. Really close, and Akola was able to win. Akola, in my opinion, because I don't know if I'm going to cut that part out of the video while I was talking about it, Akola, in my opinion, is, with this win, probably cemented as the #1 Smash Ultimate player of all time for now. Obviously, Leo might make a comeback because Leo is clearly #2, but I think Akola winning the most stacked tournament kind of rivaling Evo, but probably more important than Evo overall, due to the, again, sheer weight of the people here. Again, like 46 or 47 of the top 50, like 90 of the top 100. Evo wasn't that stacked. Evo was just giant, right? Like Evo was a ridiculous amount of players. I think it was like 3,600 players or something. And of course, the losers run that MKLeo was on after losing in the round of like 64 or something to Kamame makes it feel like his win was a lot more impressive, but that doesn't mean that winning all the way through winners until finals isn't equally as impressive, because not losing is crazy. It should have had a big enough venue. It probably could have got more entrants. Honestly, yeah, because it capped, right? It could have had more if the organizers were able to get and secure a bigger venue. That is honestly very, very true. Supernova will definitely not be as stacked. Not that many Japanese players are not that many Japanese players are gonna attend. And Japan is like 30 of the top 50. Then I see the coaching thing with Mia and Wrath. Oh yeah, this tournament had mid-set coaching, which is very odd for a tournament nowadays. I don't know how much it affected the bracket, but it was very funny seeing a couple of the people just like go up and talk to things. I know that, Mia was not getting coached by anyone. Wrath was getting coached, or was coaching, I think, Sonics, or I don't remember 100% what happened. Someone was coaching, like one of the Sonics was coaching one of the other Sonics. I don't know if it was in this point in bracket or if it was when, did he fight Sonics? No, he didn't fight Sonics. But yeah, I'm going to be going... Whoops, I go over here. But yeah, I'm going to be going over a ton of the sets that happened. Again, the upsets here were immense. There were so many upsets. Again, anyone that made top 64 should be insanely proud of themselves. Anyone that honestly got like top 128 should be proud of themselves, because this tournament was simply impossible. And if you got knocked down in round 1 pools, you shouldn't be happy for yourself, actually. You suck. And thank you all for watching. As always, social media and partner stuff is down below. Again, let me know what sets you want me to watch. I'm going to be going over so much, but in case there's one that you don't think I'm going to go over, like I feel like my plans so far are Lunamato, Gluto, Riddles, Tweak, probably, and then I don't know if I'm going to do like a dedicated like Akola video or Raru video, just because I covered them in grand finals already in my match, or my upload from today as of recording, but yesterday as of it going up. So yeah, I hope you all enjoyed. As always, social media and partner stuff is down below, and I will see you all next time. Peace.